1,208 days is the longest I've ever owned a vehicle personally. That translates into 3 years and 3 months. I typically own a vehicle maybe 2 years max, so that says a lot. That time range is how long I owned my first gen Toyota Tundra, my 2005 Tundra double cab. I love this truck, and you guys do too, so I only felt like it was fair to give a full explanation of what's going on with that truck and ultimately why I unfortunately don't own it. But don't go anywhere because there's probably more Tundra content in Toyota coming soon, so stick with me. It's actually been 6 months since I sold the Tundra, and I've waited a while because I really wanted to reflect on, did I make a mistake? Did I regret my decision? And kind of my thoughts on what replaced it. The replacement video is gonna come out after this. I'm gonna reference what replaced it and kind of why I decided to sell the Tundra, but I really felt like I needed to decompress, make sure that whatever I recommend here is true, because I've always recommended Tundras as a first truck, and spoiler alert, I still do. They are incredible trucks. The size of them is perfect, the reliability is perfect, and the price is perfect. They have gone up a lot lately, but at the time when I bought my truck, they were such a good deal, and I think a lot of people have figured it out that they're a great bang for the buck. So I was sort of thinking about selling it because, again, car ADD, I'd owned it more than my average length. I really wasn't trying to make a game plan to sell it. I told myself if I found a replacement, I would potentially list it up for sale. Short story, I desperately wanted a first-gen Ford Raptor when they came out. Honestly, before I bought the Tundra too, I looked at replacing my Tacoma with one of these. I test drove a bunch of them. They were all junk. They'd been like abused and they were super expensive, so I let go of that dream. And I'm super glad I ended up with the first-gen Tundra. It set me up to be in a better financial situation. I sold my Tacoma for big money, relatively. The Tundra was less than half of what I sold my Tacoma for, and that set me up for the future. So I'm so glad I did that. And if you guys are watching this and are trying to just get situated in life, these Tundras are such a foundational decision in your financial future, as far as cheap to get into and cheap to maintain. They won't bankrupt you. A first gen Raptor popped up literally 10 minutes from my house, and one owner, immaculate. I'm gonna get into that vehicle in the next video, but I wanted to reference it here as to kind of my decision process for why I decided to sell the Tundra. I told myself if I found a replacement, I'd list the Tundra for sale, and I didn't buy that Raptor until I had the Tundra sold. I wanted to see if I could sell it for a high dollar amount because I kind of going that way, and I did. The price difference between the mods I wanted to add to the Tundra, such as a big brake kit, some exterior mods such as a front bumper, winch, etc., that cost difference was more than what the cost difference was between selling my Tundra and buying my Raptor, which is crazy. Another decision as far as why I decided to sell, I could have done the big brakes, could have done the front bumper, but at that point, I was done making content with it. It just was so reliable. There was nothing to fix. Everything worked all the time. I do regret not taking it off-road and making videos about that. I decided to list the Tundra. I had a lot of interest in it. I'm gonna cut to a clip of a walk-around video I did of the truck to really show the condition of it. It was so clean, and that's why I wanted to wait a while, because I feel like I was gonna regret my decision because it was immaculate. It was such good shape. I'll let the video do the talking. All right, here's my truck. I have not washed it in months, so it is a little dirty, but you can kind of get the picture that it's pretty clean. Let me show you the imperfections. So the first one, there was pinstriping on this when I bought it, and I peeled it off because I didn't want it to look like a grandpa truck, and ever so slightly, I don't know if the camera will even pick it up, ever so slightly you can see, I'm not even going to get it. Anyways, it's probably not even noticeable. Anyways, if you squint from about an inch away, you can see a slight color differentiation. So another imperfection. There was a hard shell on this before I bought it, and I guess it scuffed up some of the paint here, so some touch-up paint was put here. It's just from there to here. I think the other side has the same thing as well. It's smaller. It's from there to here. Okay, so this side you can kind of see the pinstriping. Like, this is probably the worst of it, and it goes from here to here. then it basically, you can't see it anymore except for like right there. So this side, pretty clean. There's like a, if you look at a specific angle, you can kind of see there's like a door ding there. This passenger fender, this was before I got it. Something has dinged it at some point in time. So I can get a better angle of it. So it's like just slightly pressed and a slight scratch right there. It's got touch-up paint on it. Again, not very noticeable. I think the same incident that caused this did the scuff down here. I've not put any touch-up paint or try to buff it out at all there, so it probably would just fine. It's a little bit of a thing right there. But as far as the front bumper goes, that's it. There's like holes from a front license plate wherever I had it before. I painted this front and middle section an OEM black to kind of give it a more modern look. The hood has no dents, very, very minor rock chips. It's incredible how good the paint is on these. And I think if there was a rock chip, I like touched it up like right there. That's about it. It's rather good shape. This side fender, everything's fine. If you look really hard at an angle like this, you can see that there's like a door ding. Yeah, you can kind of see it. There's one there, and one there. That would probably easily pop out. But as far as like paint condition goes, there's no clear coat peel anywhere. The top's in really good shape. Mirrors are in good shape. The prize piece of this truck is its frame condition. I looked underneath it a second ago, I haven't looked in about a year, but it is still basically brand new fresh. Let me get under here to it looks like brand new under here. Again, this was garage kept almost its entire life until I've owned it, and it was garage kept half of my life, but there's not a speck of rust down here. Everything is very, very, very clean. I'll look up back as well, but yeah, like everything is very clean. Get out. You can see from in here, yeah, it's very clean. That's dust. So for a first gen Tundra, these are great. While I'm here, the tires, they literally have 10,000 miles on them. Probably need to be rotated right now, but they're basically brand new. Dirty, but fine. Wheels have no scuffs on them whatsoever. Paint imperfections, the worst of it in my opinion is the back. One of these scratches I caused, the rest of them I did not. You can just see up close here that it's just got little scuffs and stuff everywhere. That was me. I hit the tow ball when I lowered the gate. I was pretty upset about that. And then like here, there's just little scuffs here. My plan was just to replace this tailgate with like a wrecked one, because you could get it painted. It really, like from 3 feet away, you can barely see any of it. But when you're like 2 feet away, you can kind of see it. These bumpers are specific to the Platinum or Limited paint match. It's all scuffed up. I don't know why. It was like this ever since I've had it. There's a slight, yeah, it looks worse in the camera right here. There's a slight crease right there. You only see it when you're down here from up here. You can't even tell it's there. This probably needs to be hit up with some back to black stuff, but yeah, like underneath is immaculate. It is in great shape. No rust anywhere, not even on the hitch or anything like that. Quite good. Oh, and then finally, I think the last body imperfection is this right here. That was there before I had it. Again, I don't really notice it unless you're like 2 feet close staring at it. This back clip will come with it. It is pretty clean in here. I obviously need to clean it out, but no rust. It's got a, I think it's a factory liner in it. I'm not sure. Oh, you gotta pop this to close it. And then finally the interior. It's actually in pretty good shape. Back seats probably was never used before me. It's only ever seen kid seats with a towel on top of it. Headline is in great shape. So these Limited have this wood grain trim on the panels, like where the window switches are. I put a black vinyl over it. It was my first time doing it. It is not good. I plan on replacing it. Underneath, the wood is totally fine. So if you want to see the wood, I can just take it all off and you can have it like factory, but it didn't really bother me enough to change it, but kind of hid the wood. Same on the other side. Driver here, same thing, panel's fine. Like this could be better, it's not terrible.
And the same thing for the center console. So, yeah, you could take it off and see the wood if you wanted to. I'm happy to do that if needed. Yeah, like this is the worst of it. Me putting so many cups in here, it's kind of busted the vinyl right here, but you can see that the wood underneath of it's perfectly fine. Headline is all good. There's not a single scratch on it. Everything operates here and fine. I forgot about this. This has always been on the truck since I've had it. Let me get in here. That staining there, it's like it's from the inside out. I don't know if it's a typical thing or not, but it's like when you're driving, you don't really see it unless you're looking hard at it. But when you get up close enough, you can see it. I mentioned before the steering wheel could use some refreshing. This has started to like change color since I've owned it. The one owner had one of those, I guess, wheel spinner things on it. That's my guess is why that's scuffed up like that way. But other than that, it's in great shape in here. The seats. So this seat, before I bought it, this bolster was replaced because it was ripping, I guess. And at the time, it looked misplaced. It looked too new, but it's kind of blended in well to the rest of the leather now. If I'm being real nitpicky, yeah, you can see that. But again, like if you get real up close and it looks worse than it is. This armrest has always been like this. Hasn't gotten any worse since I've had it. And yeah,
It was super clean. You can see it. The guy that bought it is named Cody. I'm gonna put a link for his Instagram down here and in the description. Go follow him in that truck because that truck is still living its best life actually in Arizona. So no chance of rust. I love seeing the updates on it, so if you want to see that truck evolve over time, go follow him. A couple reasons why I was thinking about selling the Tundra and what I needed the replacement to kind of fill the gap for. One, towing. I wanted something that could tow a little bit better. I was going to do the first gen Tundra big brake mod from a Lexus that was going to help with towing. It could tow. I just tow vehicles in an open trailer, but the braking was a little bit sketch, if I'm being honest with you. I replaced the pads and rotors with stock replacements. They were just tiny brakes. If you guys don't know this, first gen Tundra front rotors and calipers are smaller than 4Runner calipers of the current era, 2010 and up. They're tiny, and I could feel them overheating when I was towing 6,000 pounds. But I had trailer brakes, it did fine, I just didn't have full confidence in it. So that was one. Another one which is fine interesting was, I've got 2 young girls, and I probably could have resolved this, but it was just kind of a headache. The back seat of a Tundra doesn't have car anchors across the entire back seat. It has them in the back seat behind the driver, it has them in the middle back seat, but the passenger rear seat does not have child anchors, which I thought was really odd. I could have gotten away with using a seat belt and ratcheting it down, but I swap car seats back and forth between cars a lot, and that was going to be a pain. And I did some research. I probably could have swapped in first gen Sequoia rear seats. Don't quote me on that, but take a look for yourselves if you're in this pickle. I believe those have anchors on the passenger rear seat, which I don't know why the Tundra didn't, but that was another factor. Other than that, like, no reason to sell it. And I feel dumb selling cars when there's just no like major reason to sell them other than my brain wants something different. And that's why I wanted to wait a while for this video, because I thought for sure I'd regret selling it. And I'll go to that now. Do I regret selling it? Yes and no. I love the replacement. We'll see how long it's reliable for. I bet the Tundra will be more reliable, even though the Tundra was 10 years older. But I had my fun with it. Like, nothing in life is forever. I thoroughly enjoyed that truck. If for some reason I get hit with some weird financial situation, which I hope never happens, those Tundras will be the first place I look again. Again, like, if you're just getting started in life and your career, go buy one of those Tundras. It'll be the best decision you've ever made. I realize that a lot of you followed this channel because of my Tundra, and so I want to put this out there. What would you like to see next on this channel? I go all over the place with what kind of vehicles I like. I like LS powered things, I like off-road things, I like unique cars. I think I need to have another Toyota on the channel. So drop a comment below. I may even put a poll up on the community or in my social. Go follow me on Garage Topics, Facebook, and Instagram. What do we replace it with? I want a project vehicle. So one, these are what I'm coming up with. You feel free to input more projects. One, a Toyota Land Cruiser, FJ80, FZJ80 from the 90s. I've always loved those. I think there's a lot of modification opportunity with those, and I think they look cool. Two, a first-gen Tacoma. I've owned one in the past. If you're an OG, but I've never owned a 4-door one, and I think they're kind of neat. And 3, a first-gen Tundra again. Probably an access cab, but I'm open to buying a super duper high mileage first-gen double cab and seeing how reliable it is. Let me know in the comments. I also do have other projects going on. Like behind me is the Bronco that's gonna be a long-term project and a passion project of mine, but I'll bring you guys along. Got my Chevy SS over here, and I've always got some car coming in and out of the garage. There's a really cool one behind me that you'll see a video of shortly. Hint, it's made of stainless steel. Like I mentioned, I really appreciate everyone watching the whole series of the truck. I don't wanna let you guys down, so let me know in the comments what you would like to see more of. I have friends with first-gen Tundras, so I can always feature them. But I'm always open to answering questions about my previous videos, or if you have a recommendation on if you're trying to buy a Tundra, shoot me a DM. I'll give you my honest opinion about whether you should buy it and how much for. And I am sad to see it go, but I am glad that the new owner loves it as much as I did. So go give him a follow. That's all I got. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments below. I got a lot more videos coming out. It is tough being a dad and having a full-time job making these videos, but I'm gonna do my best to crunch them out as much as possible. Thanks a lot for watching. Drop a comment what you want to see in the future, and make sure you stay on top of your health so you stay alive. Go get checkups every year because they're free if you got normal health insurance. Catch you guys later. Peace out.